This week on the Minding Your Business podcast, is ADHD a superpower? The hidden trade-offs between clarity, creativity, and the entrepreneur's edge. Welcome to the Minding Your Business podcast. I'm CJ Jolliff with the stupendous.
Well, you say that, but anyway, Aaron Jarrels. So today I'm a little bit off for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm at the house. It snowed like 6 inches today, and it feels strange because I know I should be looking at the camera, but it's up at the top of the screen and the window is shiny, and so it hurts my eyes, and I can't see, and I need to look. So I don't have my teleprompter, so it's going to look a little bit off, but as long as you can bear with me, then we're fine. It is weird because I typically start like so excited about stuff, and I got to tell you, I'm not really down.
And that was the podcast. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not down, and I'm not disappointed. I'm not frustrated. I'm not sad. I'm not nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not unmotivated, but I'm definitely a little bit slower. I think I mentioned before that I'd started a new medication to help me with my ADHD. I can definitely tell it has.
Yeah.
And this week is the first week where they upped the dosage a little bit, and I thought it would be twice as good as it was at the old dose. It's definitely different. And I am getting this feeling like I'm watching myself live my life. Like I've got this strange sense of detachment. And it's so strong. Like even my voice sounds different. I think we had talked earlier, and you had mentioned it. My wife mentioned it to me. She's like, "Oh, what happened to your voice? Like, why are you talking deeper than you normally?"
Your voice is very low compared to normal.
And I'm like, yeah, why? I've also noticed like the speed at which I talk is slower.
Yes.
Normally I'm talking really fast and really high, and that's different. And I feel like I'm watching it all take place instead of being it. Like, it is strange, but I've always felt like I'm a half second ahead of myself. And right now I feel like I'm a half second behind myself. Like Life is a full second different than it typically is, which feels really, really weird. Which brings me into this week. So let me fill you in on what happened this week. So this week, for the past like 6 weeks, I've been just stoked about working on the program I've been putting together, the program and system with the Break the Loop, basically turning what I do on a daily basis, finalizing and getting one analogy down, sticking with it, and writing and doing everything with one analogy, which is not my forte. Typically I like to have a new analogy for every possible thing. And I'm finding that it's a little bit more, it's easier to systematize when you stick with one. And now what's really interesting is how clear it's becoming. Like I'm recognizing it all over the place, where before I would recognize it and I would go, that reminds me of, and I'd have a new analogy in my mind. And now I go, oh my God, it's like it's solidifying the analogy that I'm using, which is the loop. And this week, I decided to take a little bit of a break, like just put a pause. And then I started to get afraid that my pause is my pull away, because that's typically what I do. I get excited for a time, I'm busting butt, I'm running, and then I go, oh, never mind. And I drop it and walk away like it never existed. But that's not the case, because it's still in my mind, ruminating in the background. But what's really weird is the things that I couldn't put together at the end of last week are making more sense at the end of this week, having not thought about it in the front of my mind, if that makes sense. It's like things are kind of running in the background, and so things are starting to fall into place where I'm like, that makes more sense. But because I've given my brain a break. But I can't do nothing. That's not possible. So I kind of decided that I would spend the week kind of mentally relaxing and doing something that I enjoyed. And so I was like, you know what, let's go back to YouTube. I really like that. I feel like I kind of let that hobby fall. And I'm like, let's lean into it more as a hobby. And I think I'd talked about that before when I was going to do the Being Bernard, where it was the crazy eclectic person in the office and recording and doing it. And so I thought, you know what, let's go back and let's write another episode. And I started leaning in real heavy into all the characters and the thing, and it just started getting bogged down. I started to get discouraged again. And I was like, hang on. I'm not tied to any one specific thing. I have the office, I have the premise, I have the person. What if I changed the day in the office so that this particular day in the life of Bernard will be slightly different? It won't be client focused, it'll be Bernard focused. So what would it look like if I wrote an episode for that? And so I really started getting into the series and the thing and him and what would he be doing? And so it's changed a little bit, but not much, just subtle little differences. Anybody that's been watching all of them will know there've been a lot of differences kind of filtering through. There's some running themes and some running jokes and stuff, which I think I'll kind of keep going. But I want to change it a little bit. And so anyway, that's what I've been working on. And then this week sort of fell apart with the storm. We got 6 inches of snow last night in like 6 hours. So I wasn't able to be in the office. I got all my notes done. I got my stuff done. And then I'm like, I don't want to get stuck here in the office, get snowed in. So I drove home. Well, I don't work well at home. So, I mean, I do fine at home, but I don't work well, creatively speaking. So like, it's fine. I'll just lean into me and my son. We'll have a good time. We watched some Olympics. We did a bunch of stuff in the house, and that was a good time. But as far as the filming goes, I have the script written. I think it's funny. But you know, my sense of humor is a little different than everybody else's. And with me being a little bit slower and I wonder if like what I find humorous this week is going to translate. So I don't want to tell anybody. I just want them to see it and then go, what is wrong with you? Or dude, that's even funnier. Or dude, that's the same as always. Like, I have no idea where on the spectrum this is going to fall. So I'm interested to see.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm excited to film it, but I didn't get the chance to do it this week. And like my brain had already like thought like I would have it done this week because I had broken it down. I'd gotten it scheduled. I have my shot list. I have like everything dialed for the 2 days I was going to be in the office working on it. And now I'm not in the office working on it.
Right.
So now that has to postpone, but it can't postpone to next week because my brain has already solved a bunch of the things that I was working on the week before that I was getting a little overwhelmed with.
Right.
So like this next week is going to be all organization and putting all of those things into basically a binder, whether it be a digital binder or a physical binder. I'm going to binderize all of those things so that I can then go back in and fill in all of the blanks for all of the stuff in the outline.
For the breaking the loop stuff.
Yes, for the breaking the loop stuff.
So you've done all your pre-production for the next being Bernard, but you haven't had a chance to shoot it.
Correct.
Well, I mean, I'm excited to see just another episode, but it will be incredibly interesting to see if there's a difference. Well, obviously there's going to be a different because there's a little different take on it, but just if there's going to be a different in the portrayal.
Yeah, because and I feel like I'm different, and so I'm like, obviously Bernard's going to be different. I mean, I act as Bernard, but I don't act that much. Like, it's not that much. I don't like over exaggerate and act. It's got to feel kind of raw, kind of real. Yeah. So I'm just curious as to how that's going to translate on camera. So anyway, it's interesting. So I'm hoping, my hope is that progression that I had where at least I felt like I was getting better with each episode will continue on the same trajectory, and it doesn't like click, reset, and start all over again because I haven't filmed any videos in 3 months, you know. Right. So I guess 2 months, 2.5 months now. But either way, it'll end up being 3 months by the time I get it shot because it's going to be another week or two, depending on the weather and how everything falls. But anyway, I'm excited to see where that goes. So anyway, that's me. That's a week in the life of me. So there we are. So what have you been up to? I know you've been busy because we haven't been in touch at all throughout the entire week.
Good stuff. All good stuff. You know, one of the things I'm realizing is there's a lot of give and take with my schedule.
Mhm.
So, in picking up like more coaching work, that
Okay.
has to come from something else, right?
Yes.
So things are going well, I will say this, like Looky Social is not my primary business. That's not where my
Okay.
primary income comes from. Uh,
Right.
you know, we just started taking draws, 2 months ago. So the fact that we can and it's only 6 months old is awesome, right?
Yes.
But that's where a lot of my time has been going is Looky Social, and I'm also looking at it from a state of the world, state of the businesses, state of my life, and where I can invest time and what's scalable and all those things. And so, look at the thing that I am currently putting most time into,
Okay.
and so you know, setting aside time for coaching, it has to kind of come out of that and all the things. But it's working. But it is a challenge.
Okay.
And what here's the encouraging part. I was working on some just sales projections.
Okay.
I think I mentioned that we started running an awareness campaign for Looky. Um,
Right.
so essentially, we started with 4 different ads,
Okay.
and we then narrowed it down to 3. We got rid of the worst performing one. Which what
Okay.
really interesting about that is it was my favorite, the one that I thought would be the
The
most
best.
effective, and it
Uh,
was the least effective by not even a little bit. So I love data, right? I love being able to see like actual, things that work and don't. And then we trimmed off the third place one. So two, 2 top contenders, and they were really close. And so we'll see what happens between those. But
okay.
um, what we're doing is we're running an awareness campaign. So, just kind of going after a broad audience, not giving the algorithm much instruction,
Okay.
letting it find people. And so um, did some analysis on what those results look like, and we have a
Okay.
really like not a good retention rate, you know,
Okay.
an excellent retention rate. Like it's kind of ridiculous,
Really.
um, which is really encouraging. So
Okay.
what we're going to do next is go after the people that have watched, you know, let's say 25% or more of any of the ads.
Okay.
And then we'll get a second ad, or we actually have 4 different versions of the
Of the
next
second ad, but okay.
yeah. Um, start running those next week, probably.
Okay.
And that, of course, has an offer. It has a free offer, right, to get people to take our social media growth assessment quiz. Um,
Okay.
and it takes about a minute, and it'll give them kind of show them where their weaknesses are, and then
Okay.
just little like tips on how to fix that. And obviously, in that exchange, we're asking for their email. Um, And so just running all those projections based on how excellent our retention is, um, we're just looking at, setting all the goals then, that's downstream of that.
Okay.
And so I don't want to reveal too much, but I can say that our goal is to bring in by, let's say, the second month of this process running,
Okay.
like we'd like to stabilize around leads per month. That'd be a very like healthy number.
Okay.
Um, And if we can close a mere 5%, which is one, um,
Right.
then it would pay for itself, pay for that campaign in that month. Um,
Okay.
so anything beyond that would be, well, month 2 we're now profitable, right? Month 1 would be break even. Not month 2 and beyond would be profit. And
Right.
so just looking at all those numbers, I have a solid goal for like where I want to be at the end of the year.
Okay.
And realistically, I think a 5% closing rate on a lead is really, really, really low. Especially if we can get people on a like social media like strategy call. So that's something that like we've only offered to current clients, um, like website clients.
Okay.
Um, now we're offering it as a standalone product. and we're gonna. I don't want to like give away the strategy, but I will. So we're gonna offer that after as a follow up in that nurturing sequence. Offer a social media strategy call that has a certain amount of dollar value to it, and honestly, like there was a stretch that like Creatively Blind, the marketing agency, there was a 2-year stretch where we had a over 90% closing rate. Like if we got to
the call,
if we got to a meeting, that meeting led to proposal, and that proposal closed the deal. So it's just a matter of getting the meeting. And so I don't know, I feel pretty good about it. We're using really, really conservative numbers.
Okay.
All the things, and it's just exciting. I've got my spreadsheet and I started punching in the lowest numbers I can that make any sense,
Okay.
and I'm like, oh, so the whole goal with and the reason we're leaning into Looky Social so much right now is that is the one piece of all the different businesses that is the most scalable when it comes to social media content strategy generation and management. That is the most scalable part of any of the businesses right now. So that's the thing that we're wanting to lean into, to then bring in the funds, to then build the team, to then, it's kind of like once this thing's on autopilot, we then get to grow in these other areas. And so I'm even going back and going to be doing some restructuring in Infinity Systems, which is my website business. Heavily leaning into automations and AI, the systems side of Infinity Systems. We'll still do websites, obviously, that's a big part of it, but it's always had like 25% of it was on the systems side. So just going to be going through and kind of massaging how we speak about it, making it a little bit more prominent instead of like an afterthought, more of a, hey, this is what we do. And so it's been a lot of that. And you know how it is, like when you're doing, when you have so many irons in the fire, right? It's just that you kind of, your focus is always split,
Yes.
So I'm trying to slow down enough at one time to do a good job here,
on at least one. Yes.
Yeah. And it's like anything else. The things this is why partnerships work well for me. I'm going to work harder in that partnership than I'm going to in my own thing.
Right. Yeah. You got that accountability, and so
exactly. And I don't want to let someone down. Right. It's easier to
putting in their time and effort.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the person who didn't. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but yeah, it's really good stuff. Kind of speaking to those ads that we put together, we had a basic script. And this was, let's see, I think Wednesday. We put together a basic script on Monday, and we both agreed to like, we're just going to get this done. So this is Chris Pizar and me. And it's something along the lines like, hey, you've probably seen our ads, so let's just cut to the chase. If your social media if it feels inconsistent, it keeps getting pushed to the side, then the real problem, like the problem is, why is this happening? Take our social media assessment, our social media growth assessment, blah, blah, blah. And so my thing is like, this does not have to be a big production. Like we have 3 seconds to get their attention, and it needs to be with words, so what can we do? What can we say to do that? And I'm like, we could make a big production of it. And Chris actually has a really, really funny script that he put together. And it was basically like, almost like a pharmaceutical ad. Is social media causing this, blah, blah, blah. And then like, that look to Looky Social. And then it's like, side effects include happiness, free time to work on your business, things like that. It's a really, really good script. But you can't just do that in a talking head kind of thing, or a walking down the street and talking. Right. And so that's going to take some time. And I just told him, I'm like, man, we have to have a version done. Right. So we both did 2 separate versions. We have 4 that we'll test, see if people like his or mine better. That'll be really interesting to see, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, you know, that's done. Now he can work on the stuff that
Fun.
requires B-roll and all that stuff. I mean, that's a great idea, but so many times, and you would know this, you get the idea, that inspiration, you're like, oh, this is it. This is the perfect thing. And you're so excited. You're on this high of like, this is a great idea. This will get attention. It'll, you know, get eyeballs
Right. And it
and
bombed.
you're like, it comes down to actually doing it. And it's like, I don't know how to pull this off.
Oh, for
And
sure.
there's friction, and that friction stalls all of your momentum. And so
Mm-hmm.
this way we have version A done, right?
Yeah.
The next iteration can be, you know, something better, and
Right.
we'll need new creative, right? Because
You're
at
going to
a
constantly
certain point, you know, yeah. And
yes.
so like just having, you know, it all goes back to what do we always say?
Yes.
Done is better than
Perfect. Oh my God. Dude, especially when I'm recording anything, you know, I don't know enough. I barely know how to turn the camera on, but I have this vision about what it's going to look like. And then I film it 10 times.
yeah,
And none of the times it's even remotely close to what I had in my mind.
right.
But I'm like, well, at least I have this done. Next, I'll try to figure out how to do that thing next time. And then I'll ask you, and you're like, oh, there's a trick to it. You do this. And I'm like, oh. Then I do it and it's close, but it's still not right. And then, but I use it. And then in the next episode, so it's one of those things, it just takes forever. But if I waited to get it right for the episode 1, I'm usually on episode 6 by the time I get something that looks pretty close to what I was looking for.
Right.
And that's 6 to 12 weeks later. Like I wouldn't have gotten anything done.
Right.
So,
but if you don't go through the first iterations, you'll never make it to the point where you get good enough, you know,
and
to do
there's no one to see the perfect one because you haven't built any audience. You have nothing. There's no one to see it. So you have the perfect one, but it still bombs because there's no one to see it.
Oh yeah.
So
I've made that video.
yeah. That's all my video.
Yeah, my 7 subscribers on YouTube are, you know, really waiting for that next video to drop. It just, I can tell it's only been 13 years, you know.
Yes.
Well, you know, just kind of been looking at, you know, we are still making progress on the book, the Money Your Business book. And the last 2 weeks have been slow progress a little bit, but
they didn't have chapters, I think.
Yeah, exactly. But man, every time we wrap up a chapter, I just step back and I look at this thing almost like how you were talking about, almost that dissociation, right? Where you're watching yourself kind of live your life outside of yourself. You know, it feels a little bit like that. I'm just, I don't know. I'm excited about what we're putting together, and I'm dying because I just want to, you know, I want to put everything on hold and finish it.
Right.
But we can't because our schedules aren't going to line up to do that, you know?
No, it doesn't. And it doesn't make sense to do that.
But I'm just so excited for it to be, you know, a finalized product, or even if it's a finalized draft, right? You know?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm really excited about, I think, the value that it's going to provide, you know, and, you know, not just for people be starting a business, not just for startups or people that are looking for a side hustle or whatever. It's kind of moved, it's evolved to be, if it's a new service offering, a new product, I mean, it would just be for any of those things. And, you know, again, diving into why there's the mind side of things, there's the business side of things. And I don't know, I'm excited, but yeah. Well, this is like probably going to be a short episode because you're all low energy and everything.
Yeah.
You know, low energy, low voice, man. No.
Yeah. Sorry about that. It doesn't help too that I've got no microphone, it just, this week really feels off, and for so many reasons. Because it is off. It's different. It's I'm you know, I'm not at the office. I don't have my microphone. I'm like, it feels less professional. And so I don't know. It's just different for sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean,
I'm excited to see if next week, maybe it's just a fluke. Maybe it was a perfect storm with all of the things happening, and so then I just feel a little off, and then we'll get back to normal, and I'll feel fine by next week. Who knows? So,
different is different, right? But is it different good, different bad?
I
Or
haven't
do you not
decided that
know?
yet.
Yeah.
No, I haven't
Yeah.
decided yet. Yeah, um, I don't have enough information to decide yet because I don't feel like it's bad,
Okay.
but I don't know yet if it's better.
Hmm. Do you think the sweet spot is somewhere in between where you were and where you are?
Maybe, but I haven't given this enough time. This is only a week, and this is a weird week, so we'll
Yeah.
figure that. We'll
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
from there. But yeah, I mean, I just because it didn't give me the difference I thought it was going to do. Because at the one, yeah, it's Wellbutrin, and at the 150 mark, they're like, yeah, it does really well for depression and whatever, but that's not what you were trying to treat. You were trying to treat your ADHD
Yeah.
and doing it without necessarily stimulants because I'm old and I don't need all that extra on my heart because I'm already drinking so much caffeine, and I told him I'm not getting that up. So this is the route we're trying, and he's like, across the board, like generally speaking, on average, people with ADHD get more help at the 300, and I would agree for sure. It is affecting the symptoms.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I like them gone. And maybe that's because I've spent 52 years with them. So then now I feel like there's just this part of my personality that's missing, or, because it's that was always there, and now it's not. And so,
Well,
like,
okay. So I'm actually really intrigued at this whole journey you're going through, right?
Yeah.
Because, you're one of probably 4 or 5 people I know that, well, now you're on medication, that are, middle-aged and on ADD medication, right?
Right.
And every single one of your cohort
Okay.
looks at me and goes, you could probably use some too, and so, I feel like I've got a little bit of self-diagnosed ADHD.
Sure.
But whether it's like, I'll be honest with you, man, I don't want to take anything because I feel like it's my superpower. And I feel like if I turned this off, I would be completely unmotivated. And I don't know. But I guess here's my big question. Do you think more clearly?
Oh. Okay, that's an interesting question. More clearly. I'm one of those people that think words are important.
Mhm.
So I'm like, for sure, more clearly, but I don't know if that's better because
Okay.
I have always been, and I've always thought of it as a superpower, but I'm always the person who listens to 5 conversations at once. Like if we go to a restaurant, my wife will laugh at me because she'll be like, I'll be carrying on the conversation, like paying attention completely. And she's like, okay, let me ask you, what's going on with this table over here? And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And I will tell her. And then she's like, how about over here? And I'm like, oh. And then she's like, all of these assumptions. I'm like, a little bit. But it's because when he said this, she said that. When she said that, he said that. Then he did the thing, made the face, got up, went over to the thing. And then I was watching her. And she's like, how are you seeing all of that when you look like you're paying attention to me? And I'm like, oh, I am paying attention to you. And to them, and to them, and to the person behind you, and to the server over here who's being a little bit off.
Yeah.
And so that noise has kind of gone down. Like all the volume of everybody else has gone down. And now I'm just listening to one and I'm like, okay, I don't understand this one better.
Okay.
It's just there's less background noise
Interesting.
that I used to also pay attention to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
and that's very much on the attention side of things.
Yeah, I hear it clearer.
Yeah.
Because I don't hear the background noise, but it's like I'm so used to compartmentalizing all of the background noise.
Yeah.
Now I'm not. And so it's kind of like trying to play, if you're used to playing 7-card stud poker, And now you're playing with just 2 cards and you have to play with the other cards that are on the table. And so you feel like, oh, so it's a different game.
So what about that? Because that's all external, like stimuli, right? So I can see the turning down of the noise, right? What about like your actual thought process?
So internal is also quiet, which is bizarre for me because I am so used to, and I would even tell my clients when we're in session, we'll be talking and then I'll make a grin and then I do the thing where I go like that and they're like, what's happening? What are you doing? And I'm like, sorry. I heard you say something. I grabbed that thought. I'm going to hang on to it. I'll come back to it when you're finished, but I'm listening to you 100%, this. And they're like, yep. And they're like, but what else are you thinking? I'm like, it also reminded me of this other thing over here. Dun, dun, dun. And I'll tell them and they're like, oh my God, that relates. And I'm like, it does, which is why I wanted to tell you about it. But before I do, I want to talk to you about the thing you said here, which is, and then we can talk about that. And they're just like, man, I love the way your brain works. It doesn't work like that anymore.
Right.
But in session, I listen to them talk and then we're just conversating. It's like I'm doing one thing at a time.
So is it better?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it's better. It's a lot easier, but it's almost boring. And I think that's why I'm like so much slower paced and I'm so much more like a deeper voice and just more like I feel almost melancholy because I'm like, it's just sort of boring. It's kind of like, it's like watching a movie without the music.
Interesting.
That's probably the best way to describe my life right now. It's
watching
the movie without the music, like with just the main microphones on, where I just hear the dialogue.
Wow.
And so it's missing a lot of that extra. There's no extra sound effects. There's no other stuff. I'm very much the person when I watch the movie, I'm like, oh, did you see what happened in the background? And right now I'm not. I'm just paying attention to the actors.
Wow. It's incredibly interesting because like I've asked other, other friends and they're like, oh, I can just focus so much more. I'll take something or whatever, whatever it is before I know I need to, like, if I need a morning where I need to really focus in on
that happens. I do that with a stimulant for sure. And I've had Adderall, I've had all of the different ones and for sure it just helps my brain focus, but it's kind of helps it hyper focus. Like I feel like I can go deeper into this thing. Like I can fixate. Whereas right now I'm not fixated. I'm just taking it in, but it's not exciting enough to fixate on. And there isn't anything else to occupy me. And so it's just like, So it's easier, but it's not, I don't know. It's like not as entertaining.
Okay. So this is going to be maybe an interesting question. And hear me.
Okay.
I'm trying to say this gently, right?
Okay.
Have you lost the passion for life?
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I'm not depressed or anything like that.
Well, I don't mean like that. I just mean like I think one of the reasons, like one of my things is like I have many hobbies because I am hungry for life. I am hungry for experience and maybe the fire. It's a lot of things. And I like what you're describing to me. It sounds like food without seasoning,
without taste, without salt. Yeah. That is sort of what it feels like. Okay. You know what? And I know that Wellbutrin isn't an antidepressant necessarily. It acts different, but it's what I would imagine based on how many clients I've talked to, what an antidepressant would feel like. Like you miss the highs and you don't get the lows. You're really much more in this sort of neutral gray. There's no black, there's no white. You're just all the time. And I feel much more of that than I was expecting.
Okay.
Which is interesting because my whole life I thought, oh my God, it'd be so much easier. And I feel like I was right. It's definitely easier, but I don't know if I enjoy easy. Never really enjoyed easy.
Oh boy. Hang on. You might need to lay down on that bed, and we may need to talk about this.
Right.
I am with you. I don't know that I enjoy easy either.
No, and that's funny because I do get so bothered when I'm talking to people and they go, "Well, this is just easier." And I'm like, "And? Well, so why are you doing it?" Like, it's always confused me. Why would people do the easy thing? Why would you do the easy thing? That's ugh. But yeah. So,
Interesting.
hmm,
Well, yeah,
I don't
and
know. I'll give it a few more weeks. I'll give it another month, and see. Maybe it's one of those things where it's kind of like when you first start something and then it like so maybe I'm
true.
still in that reactionary period where I'm just like, does this? And then I can go and turn the volume where I want to up. So we'll
Yeah.
see. I'll give it a
So
shot.
I could see the benefit in taking something when I know that I needed to focus to really like dial in. Like I've got this half day that I need to work on taxes, or I need to
Right.
finish this would be. But I can tell you, for me, in a relating to other people way, or sales, like anything like that, I feel like that would handcuff me. I don't
Yeah.
know. I would definitely like want to be able to choose like an on off switch. Here's when I need it. Here's when I don't want it the rest of this time.
You know what? And I feel like that's probably why I just this. I know this isn't appropriate, but why I just self-medicate and self-medicated my whole
Caffeine.
life. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, with caffeine, because I would know. I know exactly. No, this is a 2 coffee morning. This is a 1 coffee morning.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
I need to be drinking caffeinated tea or coffee or an energy drink. Like, I'm going to need that for this
Right.
next thing coming up or whatever. And then I sip it based on, and I can tell like, oh, I need another sip. Boop. And I can feel it in real time, what's going on, like what I need and what I don't. Whereas this one is much more not that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the
So
whole the no black and no white, but gray, like that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of what it's feeling like. And I'm like, But also I know like a lot of things are, because I slightly feel that way, am I hyper fixating on just that? So is some of this self-induced? Maybe. So I'm thinking maybe in the next few weeks I'll be like, oh, let's try and crank up the volume again. Let's see if I can. So I don't like to jump to conclusions. I know I typically do, just like everybody else, but I'm going to give myself time now to see if that conclusion pans out,
Yeah.
or if not. Like,
Yeah.
so anyway, I'm gonna give it another month or two.
Well, again, like for me, it all relates back to, you know, we're both trying to build the lives that we want,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, this conversation is really just a conversation we've been having for the last 4 years,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
so like I want, I mean, you know where I want to go, right? You know what
Yeah.
my goals are and everything, and so if if I can get there, I don't want to say easier. That's the wrong way. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I have been afraid
Okay.
that I was never going to get to where I'm trying to get because of some of my own limitations, right?
Right. Okay.
And I think that's where AI has helped, because I'm able to take all the monkey mind,
Uh-huh.
all the thoughts, and I can verbal diarrhea into the chat and just help me organize these thoughts.
Yes.
And that has been absolutely life changing.
Yes. Yeah. I think that is probably, and maybe not enough people are talking about that, but that is probably one of the best things about AI. Yes, I know it can read the entire internet and
Sure.
whatever, and
Yeah.
assimilate all this information. What I needed to do is to take all of my random thoughts
Yeah.
and then summarize them for me and give it to me, or list them out, or separate them, categorize them and give it to me.
Yeah.
And having it to be able to do that, like, I know that there are people that would use it in place of themselves, or use it, to shortcut or to cheat or to whatever the hell they're doing. But I like to use it to help organize my otherwise kind of chaotic random brain.
Right. Same.
And so that's been kind of fun. And very often I will just talk to the chat about something I'm working on. And I know I talk in circles. I know I talk, I'll start here, then I talk about this, then I go back to here, and then I talk about this, and then I talk about this, and then I go back to this. And I know I do that.
Yeah.
And so does my chat. And it goes, great. I pulled all of those and I took all of the times you were talking about this and I put it together in this outline for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is what I would have done if I could have got my brain to focus and slow down long enough to do that. But it's like, it kind of takes all the work of brainstorming it on the whiteboard and then going, okay, now where does all of these things belong over here? All of these things belong over here. All of these things belong over here. And I can have it digitally do it verbally in real time.
Right. So I saw this really interesting post. It was kind of funny. It was one of the accounts I follow on social media. It's like an ADHD account, and it's like ADHD memes or something along those lines.
Okay.
But it was basically like an ADHD person speaks in parentheses, where it's like you start doing this, and then it's like parentheses. Here's context to this story, and then finish that like line, and then go back, and then it's like every sentence has parentheses because there's always extra context to the whole point. Like what you're,
oh my God,
you know, you can't just tell a story. There's so many subplots to the story.
You know what? That makes so much sense because the way I write is parentheses.
Same.
Like I
have to force myself not to.
Yeah, or in just interjected paragraphs.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I do that. That is how I talk.
Yeah.
That's how I write too. If you read any of my articles and my stuff, like that's exactly how I write.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Does it when he has a prompt to help his chat? Like mine, I think now has heard so many hours of me talking that it gets me like pretty good. In fact, if you haven't done it in a while, do the thing like, hey, taking everything we've talked about in the last, 2-3 years or whatever, tell me something I don't know about myself already. And it's so good. And you're like, oh, thought I was keeping that hidden. Like, thought you wouldn't notice that. And it's just like, it tells me all the time, like, oh, you are a systems creator. You create all these things. You just have very poor follow through. Okay. Thanks for that.
Thank you for the feedback. I'm trying to find this. It's probably been, okay. I found it. It's been a month or so, but there was this prompt. If to put into Chat GPT or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. If you could create an image of me or create an image of me and how I treat you.
Oh,
so there were all kinds of, people. And I was like, oh boy, I don't know. It's kind of scary. The one that it came up with, I'll hold it up so you can I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but it's like, it's me and a robot at a whiteboard.
And you're both happy and you're drinking
both happy, both holding coffee, which is really funny. And it's like, key tips, FAQs, intro, success. There's like a rocket and then a light bulb and gears. And it's just,
oh my God, that would be,
it's really funny. And I was like, well, that's good. Skynet hopefully won't destroy me first.
Right. It won't kill me.
Yeah.
I swear I know it's a language model, but I am so overly polite. And I know there's this whole psychological thing and whatever, and I'm not personifying it. I'm not, but what I am doing is I'm practicing my manners so that I don't get out of practice when I'm talking to a person.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to treat that the same way I treat people. I don't want my chat to think that I'm this obnoxious, bossy something, and then write and give me answers that reflect that.
Right. Exactly.
Right. I just wanted to see me, who I am, how I am with pretty much everybody. Yes, I slip with some bad words now and then, but I never have any like ill intent towards others or whatever.
Right.
So
I'm just glad the image didn't come back with like, like a mule and a wagon behind it and a whip, oh my gosh. But I
like yours that it was you and it like sharing and talking, like sharing ideas and going back and stuff. Like I was collaborating. It looks much more collaborative than anything else.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be really interesting.
Find that prompt. I'm gonna I'll have to see what it looks like.
You have to send it to me too. I'll text you.
Text it to me and I'll share it on the next podcast.
Yeah.
No matter how bad it is.
It's gonna be interesting to see, depending on, like, I think it's gonna happen even just with the online, or in-app, LLMs, but especially doing something where it is a local LLM or it's your private
Right.
AI, that you training it and it's speaking in your voice or speaking to you how you need to be spoken to or whatever.
Right.
I think it's going to be really interesting once we get to the point where it's proactive, and we're already kind of right there.
Oh yeah.
But when it starts prompting you to do the next thing,
yes,
that's going to be a really interesting point where, okay, hey, it's
yes,
Tuesday, let's check in. Yesterday we were working on this. Today you need to do this.
I am looking forward to the day where I have a cloned me agent.
Yeah.
That's running in the background, whether it talks to anybody else or not, I don't care. But I want it to know my schedule, my calendar, my everything. And it's like, hey, it sends me a text. Boing. Hey, you need to be working on this content or this thing or this, have you reached out? Have you called this person? Have you talked to this person? Have you checked in here? The things that I know I need to be doing, forget, and then remember too late, or I remember, or I don't remember, or I write it on a list and then I forget to check the list, or those kind of things. Yes, I'm getting much better, and I've got so many alarms in my phone, so many proximity alarms, so many time alarms, so many everything, because I know I have to hack my personality, I have to hack my habits.
Yeah.
And so I do, but I would love to have something that could hack it for me, that already knows, right? But then again, I understand there's going to be some more learning curve. There's going to be some more stuff. I laugh. I saw this silly meme. We'll wrap up. Okay, fine. But I got to tell you this one. I saw this silly meme that came out the other day, and it was like, I don't understand. I think the meme was something on a dating site or something, like, hey, it picked you. The algorithm can pick you, and you're my soulmate, like my best thing ever. It knows how to pick every commercial, every product, everything, every ad that I might enjoy, all of the stuff. But you can't figure out what I want to watch next on Netflix.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
I'm like, oh my God. Yes, I know that algorithms are amazing at figuring out what products and what ads to run and what, in perfect time, and but they can't figure out what I like to watch, even with me thumbs up and thumbs downing.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
That is
boy,
that is one of the biggest challenges, especially Friday night. Fridays we watch movies instead of TV, my wife and I, and it's like, nope, not in the mood for that. Nope. And I have, on this hard drive right here, I've got 870 something movies.
Right.
Okay, it's ridiculous, right? I have my own, private media library, and we have then all the Netflix, all the different streaming things, and it's like I spend more time flipping through trying to find something to watch. I'm not in the mood for that. No, I don't think I'll watch that.
You know what kills me is I'll turn on Netflix, and it's like top shows, and you look and it's 10 shows you don't want to watch. It's like, okay, and then it's like 10 best dramas, and it's the 10 stupid shows you just saw up in the thing. And then every row is the same 10 movies all the way, or maybe 20 that are interchanged. And you're just like, none of this, gosh dang it. So Netflix is just a bum channel with nothing on it. And then you go stay at an Airbnb, and the person before you forgets to log out of their Netflix, and you turn on Netflix, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to log in. Oh, they're already here, and they're already
ooh, what's that?
I'd watch all of these.
Right.
How do I clone their channel and put it onto my channel? This person knows better. None of this ever comes up on mine. And then I'll go to mine, and we're like, okay, take a picture of the screen, and we take a picture, and we get all those, and then we go back to ours, and we go to search, and this doesn't show up. And I'm like, what, were they from France?
Right.
Why did they have all these different shows than me? They were just here last week. What is happening?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense. I don't know.
I specifically saw an AI service that someone built, in the last week or something like that. That was like the movie the movie recommendation AI or whatever.
Okay.
Fortunately, I didn't save it. I should have. As I was passing by it, I was like, "Oh, that's great. I should save that." I just kept scrolling. Oh, and now it's coming up in conversation. I'm kicking myself.
Oh
That would be
man.
very handy.
You know what? I bet there's a prompt.
Hmm,
And if you can't write it, have the AI write you the
that's
prompt.
true. Yeah.
I have started having it write the prompt. I need a prompt for an AI. I will have Gemini prompt my Notebook LM prompt for doing the research on stuff that I want to know more about.
Yeah.
And it writes amazing prompt, better than I would
Of
have
course.
written, because it thinks about stuff, because it writes it for that specific AI.
Yeah.
It doesn't do like we do, where we think, oh, it's pulling out these keywords. It's not. It does
Right.
it different. So you have it write the prompt, then it finds and it gets really great sources. And then you're like, perfect. Now write me a prompt to have it use those sources, and write me like a deep dive experience of what's there that answers these 6 questions for me, and then also brings up considerations I hadn't thought about.
Yeah.
And then I have to do that, and it makes, and I'm like, oh, this is so good. But if I had to come up with, I could come up with, probably I could do it and write the prompt. But it's so much faster to just go beep. Listen, make me a prompt that, and I can say it all out loud. It
Yes.
writes it for me. I copy, paste, plug it in, done.
It's interesting, like the whole prompting thing. I saw I think it's based on the newest versions. So it would be ChatGPT 5.2,
Mm,
and then on Claude Opus 4.6, I think is what it
okay.
is. It was saying you're better off if you ask questions instead of telling it what you want. So frame it in questions instead of saying, build me a marketing plan for a coffee, a direct ship coffee company. Saying,
Mhm.
I have a direct ship marketing plan company, and what would be the best strategy for a marketing plan for that company? And so
Yes.
then it's giving you what is best for you, not what you ask for, kind of thing, if it makes sense. And that's a bad example. The other
Yes, no, I know exactly what you're saying. I typically don't tell it what to do.
right.
I ask it, here's what I'm looking for. How would I go about the best way to get that information? Or
Yeah.
what other information am I not considering, since this is what I think I'm looking for? And
Yeah.
it'll be like, oh, I think what you're looking for by saying this is this. And I'm like, oh, that is a much better way of wording it. Yes, it is. And it's like, oh, in that case, and it goes down a completely different path than it would have if it had just given me what I asked for,
Yeah.
what I thought I wanted.
Yeah.
So, and that brings up the point. If we go back to when we first met, we worked with let's just call it a client, a person who wanted a result,
Mm.
very much wanted a very specific result, and only wanted that result doing it in a very specific route. And
Right.
the result was never going to be the result of that route. Like,
Right.
you were never going to arrive. It's like kind of saying, I want to take Route 66 and I want to end up in Spain. And you're like, you
That,
can't take Route 66,
right.
end up in Spain. You can get to Spain, and you can
Yeah.
also take Route 66, but those are not connected in any way.
Right.
And so I feel like that's often what I do with my brain is I think, oh, I want this. Give me this, and I will tell it the way to get there. And it'll do it. It'll give me what I asked for, but it never works.
Right.
And
Right.
so this is why I think people think that the AIs are hallucinating and doing it. It's like, no, it's giving you exactly what you asked for,
Right.
but you didn't ask for the result. You just assumed the result would be the ultimate like ending to the route you gave it. And you asked it to provide me a really easy route. And it's like, okay,
Right.
66 and stop off at these places and get the milkshakes and do that. And you're like, perfect. And then you wonder why you don't end up in Spain.
Right. That's a perfect analogy. That really is.
So,
Yes, I remember those days.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that person now, but I do know, like, when I was making my YouTube channels, I'm like, no, I want to make this kind of video this way. But I also want to blow up and get big and have a lot of people follow me. And it's like, nobody wants to watch what I wanted to make.
Right. I mean, 40 people do, like.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, with this one now. Dude, it's interesting. I went back this last couple of weeks, a few weeks ago, and I went back and I checked my old channel because I was like, I probably need to start putting some new content out on that again. I need to be like, revive it. And I didn't do anything with it, but I took and I did pulled a couple of shorts from a couple of my older videos just to kind of let the algorithm know, hey, I'm still here. This is still an active channel.
Yeah.
And in the last like 3 weeks, I've gained 9 new subscribers.
Wow.
I think I've lost 2, but gained 9. So it's a bump up of 7. So I'm like at 1607. And I was at like 1598 or whatever it was. I couldn't break that 1600. Now it did, and it's still like growing. And it was interesting. I'd done last year, I think it was last year or the year before, I'd made a bunch of like Valentine's Day videos, like how to celebrate Valentine's Day long distance, how to whatever. And I made a whole bunch of different ones, how to celebrate it by yourself, and a bunch of stuff. And those videos didn't do anything last year. And I made them like in February and nothing. And they blew up this year, and I got him a bunch of subscribers, and like those were my busiest, best videos this year. A bunch of people like commenting, being like, "Oh my God, dude, thank you so much, like for letting me know I can celebrate Valentine's Day. It doesn't have to be depressing just because I'm alone and whatever." And I'm like, dude, come on, this is a BS holiday anyway. Like, really, if you're the person who has to be reminded to do something nice for your partner, your person, one day a year, geez,
right.
You're a piece of crap. Like, come on, right? Or you're with somebody who is. So anyway, if you would go all out for somebody else, trust me, you're worth it. Do it for yourself.
Nice.
And so I made those videos, put them out, and people are like, dude, thanks. And I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. I hope you had a good time. I hope you had a great Valentine's Day. Like, and some of them are from this country, they look like, and some of them are not, based on their user profile names. I mean, who knows? A bunch of letters and numbers and weird names, but whatever. I'm just like, who cares? They actually reached out enough to say something, so I appreciate that. But I think that's why it went. It showed it to a few people. A couple people commented. I commented back. Like we kind of had some engagement going back and forth, and then it showed it to more people. So they kind of took off.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, but it goes back to that idea, like, it isn't a short. It doesn't have a 48 to 72 hour lifespan. Like, you make a decent video, you make it the way you make it good, not fabulous, not perfect, but you make it good with good content. And then you put it, and I had multiple people watch several people watched a few videos, and they're like, dude, the sound on this is garbage. And I knew, because that was the one where I didn't have a good mic, but then they over compressed it. So I knew the sound was bad. And they're like, but ultimately it's pretty darn good. Like, realistically, you're an example of just good content doesn't mean you get big. They're like, you should be a lot bigger than you are based on the content you're making. And I was like, I appreciate that. Like, it is what it is. But, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you commenting. I appreciate it. So.
But that kind of content is evergreen.
Yeah, it seems to be. And what's interesting, too, is I've had multiple people say, I like this video. They'll watch 2-3 videos, and they'll be like, this video was the best one. And it's just the one I recorded myself, not the one that I had all the extra verb and the words and the screen and the B-roll and the thing and the background music and all of it. They're like, that's fine, but I just really wanted to hear you say what you said.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? That makes sense, because it's when I'm telling people, like, dude, I got that you broke up. Don't text them back. Like, I know it hurts. I know it's whatever. And so it doesn't need all that flashy stuff. It's just like, in the state you're in, you're not looking for flashy excitement. You just want somebody to tell you what you need to hear.
Right.
And so anyway, yeah, so it's interesting. So I've got a whole series of videos that I want to make for that channel that are lean much more towards the breaking the loop. And we should probably talk about that as well. Maybe in the next episode, think about that for the next one. When I showed somebody my first draft book, and they're like, "Oh my God, dude, this is amazing." So have you copyrighted any of this? And I go, "No." And they're like, "Well, you probably should." And I'm like, "Well, I have a first draft, like it's already out." Like, and two, I didn't invent the material. And they're like, "No, but your take, your spin on it is different.
Right.
Your analogy is yours. Like
Right.
you're using this analogy." I've heard a bunch of people use different analogies that are equally as good, but this one is good. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, fair enough. I have no idea how to do that. And so they're like, "I think it's pretty easy." And I'm like, I don't know.
I got a guy.
Maybe we should talk about that on
Yeah.
the show, because I'm sure
Yeah.
there's some other people that have done similar thing or have
Sure.
something else that don't know, and they're like, "Oh, I think I'd like to know about that." So, maybe let's talk about it.
As a great podcast fodder. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great idea. Well, next week, let's plan on that.
Okay. Well, then that's what we'll do.
We're right at the hour mark. So want to wrap up, but yeah. So next week, let's talk about copywriting, maybe a little bit about trademarking and some of the ways
Okay.
about that.
Perfect.
And I'm sure I will have. Let's see. I might have a little data,
Okay.
for feedback on the Looky campaigns.
Oh, good. Yeah,
You know,
I'd like to hear how that
But I think
went.
in general, like, want to start pushing out more of like, hey, here's how I would do if you're trying to do X, Y, or Z. Here's how I would do it. And
Okay.
then we haven't had a guest on in a while.
Yeah.
Partly because we've just been trying to get through the book, and we're just
Yeah.
quickly recording something for the podcast. I have my inbox is full of possible
Potential guests.
possible guests, and there's a couple in particular that I'm like, man, I really like that one.
Okay.
Some of those things.
Okay.
Because then again, it's all about bringing value, right? And
Mhm.
so I get hit up 3 to 5 times a day, and most of it's just junk,
Yeah.
But there's a handful that are really, really, I think it'd be great having these people on, but I think it's going to be after we finish the book. So why don't we wrap up today, and then we'll finish another chapter on the book, and
Okay.
even if it's a half chapter, whatever, let's just get through it.
Yeah. Yeah. We got time. Cool,
But
man.
thank you
Okay.
for walking us through your journey with like where you're at and where your head is and how it feels different, and that
Yeah.
it's incredibly interesting. I'm very curious to see where this all settles.
Yeah, me too. I see where the dust settles, because I feel like it's still a little
Yeah.
too dusty to tell yet.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But-
it's interesting. And it's interesting for me. I'm glad it is for you. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, it's incredibly interesting because I feel a little bit of that tension for myself. Like, oh, I should probably do something like this, but at the same time, I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
I don't like taking ibuprofen, so,
No, I
um,
know.
and especially when it's like the stimulant type, the Adderalls or whatever. It's like, look, man, if it can be abused, I could probably find a way to do it, so, but anyway, yeah, thank you for how do they say it? Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, until next week, mind your business. Hey, thanks for listening to the Minding Your Business podcast. Your hosts are Aaron Jarrels and me, CJ Jolliff. If you want to find out more about us or when we're going live or follow us on socials, just go to our website, mybpodcast.com. And again, thank you so much for listening.